So that's the man our niece has been seeing. Well, we'll put a stop to that, won't I?
Yes, you will, dear. Now, you've seen with your own eyes how rock and roll is destroying the youth of our nation.
Disgusting.
Revolting. Disgusting. Revolting. All those in favor say aye, carried.
We ought to write to Washington. It's been weeks since I've written Washington.
Now, we need an organized resistance to this vulgar, lewd rocking and rolling.
Sometimes referred to as shaking.
Now, all those in favor of an organized resistance such as the Vigilance Committee signify.
Aye.
We are waiting for you, Mr. Fitzdingle. Oh. Down with the... What is it this time, Georgiana?
Rock and roll, idiot.
Rock and roll, idiot. Good. Now we will need a strong and militant leader. I suggest the name of Eustace Fentwick. I accept. Nominations are closed. All those in favor say aye. Carried. No doubt you would like to have an acceptance speech. I accept this nomination with a great deal of reluctance. I did not choose this all-consuming job, but I realize how much you need the best help of the best leader available.
This takes care of my one free afternoon. I'm already organized against 11 different menaces.
Oh, but my wife's got you beat. She's anti-21 things, including Sunday walks in the park.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we need a name. Any suggestions?
Well,
Suggestion period is over. The name will be Spraycade.
Magnificent name, but what does it mean?
Society Prevention of Rock and Roll Corruption of American Youth.
Oh.
That's 2 letters more than any group I know of. Which reminds me of a funeral service I once held in Arkansas.
Now then, to all. You and you and you. Call up the studios and keep it up for an hour. And you write letters to police officials. And the rest of you write letters to the studio. Now you know what to say.
Indeed we do. We'll use form letter number 12.
Certainly.
That's it.
Today's winners, Carlos and Rosie, representing the Black Eagles. They will be competing for the club awards next month. And by the way, we have 3 new clubs incorporated into our organization. That makes a total of 78 throughout the city. Now, Axe McAllister and I...
No, pause.
We'll be paying these clubs a personal visit throughout the coming week. See you tomorrow, cats. Same time, same channel, same bop beat. It's all yours, Axe.
Okay, say, kids, you were the greatest. Absolutely the greatest. Nobody blew the bit, nobody aped it. You can all stay in the human race. Now, wait, cats! Before I send you up completely in flames, I want to know what you've been doing about the money bit. Make me know that. In the meantime, I got some announcements about some real working cats and what they are doing. Yeah, here we are. Lucky 13 are going to hold an arts and crafts bit. The long green stuff goes into the pot for the permanent building fund, right?
Hi, Gary.
Young lady, would you open this refrigerator door, please?
Anything to please a customer.
Ah, good. I'll buy it. You can work in my kitchen anytime. You know, it looks awfully good on you. Say, how are you with the stove?
Oh, terrible.
Just tuning in me and kitchen makes 3. Hey, what's the matter? Aunt and Uncle object to a possible union?
I haven't told them yet. I think Aunt Georgiana would flip if she knew we were talking kitchen appliances.
Ah, they don't go for me, huh?
They don't go for this. They're even organizing a group to fight rock and roll.
Oh, honey, these crackpots just come and go.
Not Aunt Georgiana. She hangs on like a bulldog, doesn't let go. You're demoralizing our youth, she says.
Demoralizing our youth? Doesn't she realize what's happening? We've now got 78 groups all brought together by the same interest, music. And their activities have branched out into hobby work, dramatics, club newspapers, charity drives, paper drives. All she has to do is ask the juvenile authorities. They'll tell her what those kids were doing before we organized these clubs for them.
Hey, you don't have to sell me. I tried to explain it to them, but they couldn't see it.
I guess you're right. Gary, I hate to break up this touching little scene, but the studio is needed for rehearsal.
Oh, who's working out here?
Fats Domino.
Domino? Hey, my kids would give their young brothers to sit in on that.
Oh, I don't know. You know what he does to them. They tear up the place.
Frank, you just leave that up to me.
That's pretty good.
Excuse me.
Oh, look, these kids are really digging the permanent building
Yeah,
fund.
let it hang, Axe. Listen, kids, Fats Domino is heading this way for a workout.
Fats Domino! Oh,
Hold it. Wait a minute now. If you've got no chores to do and you're willing to stand by quietly and listen, I think I can fix it.
Oh, we'll be as quiet
Now,
as...
wait a minute. Okay, now just gather around quietly. Come on. Shh, now just stand by. Here he is now. Say, Fats, a bunch of the kids would like to listen to you blowing up a storm. Would you let them listen in?
Well, as a rule, we don't do it, but for the kids, I'm more than glad. I just wrote a new number called Honey Child. Would you all like to hear it? All right, boys. So, you all ready? Yeah. Well, let's get going then. You will never win wonderful charm, but I love to hold you in my arms. Only you can thrill me like you do. So hold that kiss for a long, long while. You know I love you, honey child. I love to hear you whisper low. You know you really thrill me so. Only you can thrill me like you do. So please don't put me on that shelf. You know I cannot help myself. I am happy as a baby boy. You ain't nothing but a bundle of joy. Only you can thrill me like you do. Bend your legs and pigeon toe. You know I love you, goodness knows. You will never win wonderful charm, but I love to hold you in my arms. No one can thrill me like you do. So hold that kiss for a long, long while. You know I love you, honey child. I am happy as a baby boy. You ain't nothing but a bundle of joy. Only you can thrill me like you do. Bend your legs and pigeon toes. You know I love you, goodness knows.
All right, kids, let's hop to it. Get with your homework and chores, huh? Come on.
Oh.
Say, by the way, honey, when are you going to sing our love song to your aunt and uncle?
Let's wait a while.
You're not pulling an Uncle Horace on me, are you? If you can't fight him, join him?
I've got to pick the right time.
Come along, Horace, come along. It's nearly time for the collection. Come on. Oh, dear, what is the matter with you? Will you put them down? Put them in the box now. Hurry up, hurry up.
Oh, don't mail those grouch letters, please.
We feel it to be our civic duty.
If only you try to understand before you condemn.
But your aunt don't work that way, Jude.
I've asked you to stop seeing that corrupter of youth. These will see that you do. They'll break him.
Break Gary. You'll be breaking 5,000 kids who are being held together by a common interest. You'll send them right back from where they came, back to gang fights in the slums.
You know, we ought to think that over, Georgiana.
Oh, you do? Well, the S-P-R-A-C-A-Y does not think it does. Go ahead, get the letters.
Long live whatever those silly initials mean.
They're silly to you, but not to me. Get the letters in, get the letters in.
Gary, I've never seen anything like it. 600 letters wishing you death by slow torture. 800 phone calls.
Yeah, plus numerous publicity releases. Look at this. Citizens Committee forms to combat rock and roll craze. Here, irresponsible leadership can ruin our youngsters, says head of new vigilante committee.
You know, medicine's found ways of prolonging some old squares' lives. You know how they spend it? Beating their gums.
Give me that bottle.
This one? There ought to be a law against prolonging some lives.
No. They're threatening boycotts of the station, the sponsors.
Why don't they boycott breathing?
Oh, these letters were all written by the same handful of people. It's just too bad the others, the ones who know we're doing a job where the kids keep quiet.
All I know is this can help our ratings.
Ratings? Is that all this means to you?
What else? I'm paid for ratings?
Look, why don't you come with us to a meeting of the Black Eagles? That's a group that's been formed in the slum area. Every one of those kids has a record of some kind. I'd just like you to see how they spend their time now.
Save that malarkey for the social welfare people. Rock and roll's a gimmick to sell Shadrack's shoes as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, come on, Axe. Let's look for friends elsewhere.
I have just one word for you. I'm stuck. Where the directions? All I need is How you doing, kid? I'm stuck. Where the directions? All I need is a plug. Oh, sorry, kid. Hey, Gary, come over here. Look, show them what this wig's doing. Dig it to him, Pop.
It's a building down the street the city's condemning.
Yeah.
I'm just playing around with the idea that we own it. And they're going to convert it into teen town. A spot of our own. Run for and by the kids themselves.
You've got something there. All we need is a few $1,000s.
Yeah, but the kids figure they can make a lot of the sweat themselves.
My old man would chip in on the cement work. Must be a lot of our squawkers could give a finger.
You know, you got something to think about, Tommy. Yeah, but right now, our big problem is just to stay alive.
Gee, but it's worth a pitch, huh, Dad?
I'll try it on for size.
Happy fit.
What are you doing, Pete?
Arts and craft.
Arts and crafts. Where is the dice?
I'm making a leather wallet.
Yeah, the last time I saw you make a wallet was in a guy's pocket. 3 lousy months in a jug, and what happens?
I leave behind me a nice, normal bunch of hoodlums. I turn my back, you turn respectable. A couple of you have been known to be smiling at the cops. You are turned rotten. Turned rotten. And you are the guy what muscled in on me, huh? What is the matter? Nobody informs you this is my territory from 3rd Street to the Union Depot? You think you could just move in and take over just like that?
The kids made up their own minds, Bugsy.
Well, I am not about to stand by and watch you make bums out of these kids. Hearts and craps. All right, you punks. Throw the crooks out. So you have turned chicken. Turned chicken! Do you see what's happening to the youth of today? The next thing you know, they'll be going to school every day. Throw them crooks out. I said throw these crooks out. Mister, do you realize what you have committed? You have committed brainwash.
Look, Bugsy, we got a lot of work to do tonight. So I suggest you either join us or take a walk.
Ditto. Repeat. Ditto.
There is nothing I would like better than to cut out paper posies and spread them across your grave.
Oh.
Should I give him what for, Bugsy?
Oh, come here, stupid. Do you not know it is no time to fight in a crisis like this? You have got to use tragedy, which you possess none of. Go.
Looks like we're right in the middle of it. Fenwick and his gang yelling corruption, and Bugsy and his boys shouting the same thing.
Yeah, I guess it depends on which video you view it on, huh? Oh, but enough of this philosophizing. Big word, huh? Say, I want you... Hey, chick, come here, will you? Gary, this is Anita.
Hello, Anita.
Hi, Gary.
She's gonna do a number for the building fund's benefit, so will you make with a mouthful of high five for Dad? Get ready, kids. Unhook your ears, Dad.
Come all you teen queens, put on your blue jeans. We're gonna have a big ball. We're gonna romp, stop, rock on a Saturday night. We're gonna bop, stop, hop on a Saturday night. We're gonna leap, creep, jump on a Saturday night. We're gonna serve soda pop from the corner shop. Records that will play till the break of day. Come and join the crowd. We'll be shouting loud. Don't miss it, man. We're gonna do the mambo rock, do the Texas hop. Most of all, we're gonna do the boogie rock. Jumping starts at 8. No one should be late. Don't miss it, man. We're gonna bump, jump, rock on a Saturday night. We're gonna sing, swing, rock on a Saturday night. We're gonna flip, flop, rock on a Saturday night.
Oh, man, that was the most, the greatest, the solidest, you know, I've been thinking. It's a painful experience, but I've been thinking. And, you know, it kind of gets you. Here.
Now, just take it easy, Axe. Take it easy. You know, anything new like this, you should do just a little at a time.
Okay, Dad. I'll give it to you bit by bit. Okay. First bit, I figured that these kids can really scoot some loot. Second bit, I figure I can round up a group to really blow for the kids. And third and most solid bit, Dad, we should plug this thing over the air. We'll get every cat in town down there.
The way these poison pen epistles are coming in, I doubt if there'll be any air to plug it over.
You mean they'll cancel us? Null us? Void us?
It's looking more like it every time the mailman comes.
Ooh, I'd like to tell them all. Those squirrels. In court, I'd like to tell them all. I would rock that jury right down to their ever-loving argyles. Who should know better than me what all this means?
Boy, you just got yourself a thought.
Me? How'd I do it? And what is it?
Just let me live with it a while. I'll chew it over with you later.
Okay. Take 5, Dad.
Looks like they're gaining on us.
Hey, Dad, look. Here's something to gladden your beaten breast. It's an editorial in the Clarion. Now, get a load of this. Focus your audio. It says, leave kids alone. A close examination of the facts in the latest attempt to curb rock and roll leaves room for doubt in the supposed evils of this pastime.
In the final analysis, youth must express its overabundance of energy. Better on the dance floor than in the alleys. Better around a jukebox than a pool table. Axe, I think we finally got ourselves a friend. I'm going to find out who wrote this right after the show.
Crazy, man.
Start the slaughter, Nelson.
Right.
All right, now, quiet, kids. We're on the air in 30 seconds.
Now, what's the good word, Bird?
I am not a bird.
I know a lot of buzzards would be mighty pleased to hear that.
My name is Eustace Fentwick III.
The third? Don't tell me this has happened 3 times before, man. Well, crazy. What can I do for you, Mr. Useless Bentstick?
The name is Fentwick.
So, what can I do for you, Mr. Airwick?
Young man, I once buried a man just like you.
Oh, not like me, Dad. I'm the original. I am the thing.
Such impudence.
Oh, chick, thanks very much. I'm going to sit this one out. Maybe when they play the next number, you and I can work up a sweat and hop a bop. Because, kid, nothing braces me up like a good drag across the slag with a hag.
Oh, my head! Oh, my head! Oh!
Look, that is a delegation from the Clobbered Cats Convention, and that is Mr. Useless Fenwick. Now, mind you, he is not the first, not the second, but the third.
Take over, Axe.
In the name of the SPA, the SP...
that's a railroad, ma'am.
The SPAR...
Spray K.
In the name of what Mr. Fentwick just said, will you please stop that vulgar contortioning out there?
There's no law against it, ma'am.
If there isn't, we'll make one.
I remember I had a case in Galveston once. Lady looked just like you, Georgiana. She was run over by a streetcar.
Shut up, Hiram.
Young man, take us to the manager's office.
Certainly, ma'am.
Don't man me. You've seen the last of June, I assure you of that. Savage. Horace! Come along with me. Come on. Come on. Yes. Come along. Come along. Come along. All right. Come along, young man. I'm ready.
Would you wind up the show? I'm taking these people to the manager.
Man, is that what they are? People?
Everything is going to be all right, honey.
This can hurt. There goes my honeymoon cottage.
You know what? It takes 2 sides to make a battle. From now on, call me General Axe McAllister. Pardon me, cats. Come over here. Hello, you out there in video land. Now dig this. There's a brigade of blue noses here out to smash this whole bust up. I need a shoulder, so make with the quill on the parchment, please, and keep 'em coming in. Else the whole works will blow up. The club, the permanent building fund, everything. And another thing, get to Mama and Papa Square. Try to sell them the pitch, huh? Radar shows trouble ahead, but are we kittens or are we cats? We can do it. I thank you.
Damn!
All right, sir. What is your decision?
I'll discuss it with my superiors.
An outraged public demand that this be stopped at once.
Outraged public. 4 people.
3.
Quiet.
A handful of people who presume to sit in judgment on the rights of their fellow citizens.
Citizens. Teenage hoodlums.
We want to bring back sweetness to youth. The waltz, the slow foxtrot. Why, I remember when I was a girl.
That'd be quite a trick.
Do you intend to sit idly by and watch these youngsters being led into acts of delinquency?
Delinquency? This does just the opposite, and we've got 81 groups to prove it.
Well, if necessary, we'll get a court order restraining them from performing this rolling stone in public.
Rolling Rock, Fentwick.
Yeah, rolling, whatever it is. Come on.
I'd say about 6 foot 1 inch tall, 185 pounds. Right?
Very close. Why?
For pallbearers should do nicely.
Thanks for backing me up, Bill. If I wasn't convinced it was a good thing for the kids, why...
The kids? Who's thinking about the kids? This feud's given us top rating. We're even killing the networks. We'll build it up as far as it goes. When it gets real hot, we'll switch to something else.
That's all it means to you. Ratings and advertising sales, huh?
That's what pays for your bread and butter, Nelson. You're not falling for your propaganda, are you? That club stuff, it's good for the kids, baloney. You don't expect me to swallow that.
Look, I believe we're doing a job for these kids that goes far beyond giving them a chance to just stomp their feet.
By the way things are going, you might have to prove that to stay on the air.
That's exactly what I intend to do. And if I can't, you won't have to fire me.
Ah, this stuff's for kids.
You've been standing there watching for an hour. You might as well take a stab at it.
Dumb little jerks. Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Hold it, kids, hold it. Now, this is Mr. Armstrong, editor of the Clarion. He's been giving us a boost in his paper.
Oh, man, this cat's a positive gasser.
I beg your pardon?
That's his way of saying thank you, Mr. Armstrong.
Well, you'd never know it.
I just had Mr. Armstrong over to look at that rundown joint we want to call Teen Town.
This all started out of a rock and roll dance group?
That's right. This music is their basic interest, their kind of music. You see, it brought them together, and once that happened, why, their activities branched out.
And the same is true of your other groups?
That's right, only with some it takes a little longer.
Well, it looks good. Have you figured out what it's going to cost to put that dump on 3rd Street in shape?
Well, about $12,000 for material. We get the labor free. You see, the club members' fathers have promised to pitch in.
Yeah, but that's still a lot of money. Do you think you could raise $12,000 in 90 days?
Well, we could give it a try.
Well, the Clarion will pay the rent for 90 days. If at that time you've got the money you need, we'll back you all the way. We'll pay the rent and the upkeep just so long as you keep doing constructive work.
Oh, man, didn't I tell you this was a gasser?
I don't know how to thank you, Mr. Armstrong.
Well, save it till you get the $12,000. You know, it'll make a good headline at that. Clarion underwrites Teen Town. Good night, all.
Good night. About that. Oh, let's get to work on the money angle.
Yeah, how about that Bob concert you told us about, Axe?
Oh, that old thing. Well, naturally, we're going to have people from the top 10. You know, Fats Domino, Joe Turner, Tommy Charles.
Hey, you're floating acts. Back down to earth, huh?
You know what? I'm floating right over here to ask you, didn't you have those cats on your disc jockey show? Well, yeah.
Oh,
you asked them.
Okay, I'll give it a pitch. Hey.
June, I don't think that your aunt wants you to go out tonight.
Well, I was just going to take a walk down to the library.
Yes, I know. And when you see Nelson down there, you tell him that your aunt is bringing out a group to his concert tonight.
What for?
To cause trouble. And if there is trouble, they're taking a police officer along with them.
Yes, and if they can't find it, they'll make it.
Now, June, your aunt is a very determined woman. And since condemning low necklines has gone out of fashion, she's joined up with this lively group. Now, I'm going to tell you, you hurry up and find that library of yours.
Horace? Horace? Come along, we have work to do.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, my dear. Yes.
Hurry up.
Yes, yes, yes.
Late now.
Yes, my dear. Oh.
What is happening to the younger generation of today, Nick?
Lousy jerks.
Oh, shut up, stupid. When I wish you to venture an opinion, I will ask you thereof.
You made me cry when you said goodbye. Ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame. You broke my heart when you said we'll part. Ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame. Oh, well, goodbye. Although I'll cry. Ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame. You made me cry when you said goodbye. Ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame. Oh, well, goodbye. Although I'll cry. Ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame.
Aren't you coming in?
What'll I do in there? I don't go for that bop stuff myself.
You're going to sit here and listen to that outrageous assault on the eardrums?
Lady, they're not breaking any laws.
They're creating a disturbance, disturbing the peace.
Look, You came here of your own free will. You can get away. Any complaints like that have got to come from people in the neighborhood.
Well, then we'll circulate a petition, have it signed at once. Each one of you take a different block.
Excellent idea.
Georgiana, why don't we go home? These kids aren't doing anything different than we did 40 years ago.
You'll come along with me if you know what's good for you.
Yes.
Out of my way.
I see a dame like that, and right away my wife looks good to me.
Well, what's it gonna be, Joe?
We're gonna take off with feeling happy.
Now go, man!
Oh, well, feels so fine today. Oh, well, I feel so fine today. Got a letter from the baby this time to coming home today. She's all skinny, mama, weighs about 90 pounds. She's all skinny, mama, she weighs about 90 pounds. See you no more when that little girl comes around. Well, do you want to jump, children? Yeah! 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 Now we got jumping, children. Yeah! Jump, jump, jump.
They're bringing the police with them.
Well, let them. We've got a concert permit.
Call it off. I don't know how they'll do, but they're going to make trouble for you.
Oh, we're not calling anything off. They ask for a fight, I mean to oblige them.
Well, my, oh, well, my, it's a good time roll, it's a good time fly, you got a red big eye, really on the ball. You got red big eyes, really on the ball. She's a fine little baby, comes to my back to the call. She's yours, she's mine, somebody
What a
else
racket.
too.
I don't see how they could stand that noise.
She's yours,
Oh,
she's
shut up,
mine,
stupid.
somebody
When I want your
else
opinion,
too.
I will ask you for it.
Well, you better look out, have a clean away from you. Well, all righty.
Here you are, 12 signatures, 12 complaints.
I only got 5. I'd have had more, but I had to carry Horace upstairs.
All right, mister. I'll read the act to them.
Now for the big finale. The guy you've all been waiting to hear, Tommy Charles.
My man, I got nothing but sweet love on my mind. If you're really gonna leave me, let me love you just one more time. Well, you know I love you, baby, and I need your loving bad. Better give me some sweet love right this minute, or you're gonna make me mad. 'Cause I'm a man, I got nothing but sweet love on my mind.
Don't you think you better duck out?
They might as well know where I stand.
Well, you love me, then you leave me, and I cry the whole night through. Yeah, you love me, then you leave me, and I don't know what to do. I need your little old arms around me to hold and squeeze me tight. But you just love me, then you leave me, baby, and you know it ain't right. 'Cause I'm a man, I got nothing but sweet love on my mind.
Perfectly awful. I've never seen anything like it. It's disgraceful.
It certainly is.
It's disgusting. Oh, my. What do you think you're doing? Horace.
In the morning,
Stop it!
leave me a note up on my door. Just bring my letter to the bottom of the river, 'cause I won't be here no more. 'Cause I'm a man, I got nothing but sweet love on my mind.
you go over and tell the kids a pinch is coming up, but they don't want to spend the night in a can of blow right now. Go on.
Hey, that Bugsy character's trying to stir up trouble. Just give me the nod and I'll start a fire in his head with a hot coal on each eyeball.
Now, just take it easy, Axe. No fights, huh?
Okay, it would kind of burn him up, though, wouldn't it? You'll have to call off this shindig, mister.
On what charge?
Disturbing the peace, 17 complaints.
But we've got a concert permit.
17 sets of eardrums don't think it's a concert.
Just bring my letter to the bottom of the river, 'cause I won't be here no more. 'Cause I'm a man, I got nothing but sweet love on my mind.
See you jerks. They've been feeding you on cop stuff. All the time they've been taking orders from the law. Now cut out before they take you home in a wagon.
Hey, remember me? Outside, no agitating in here, cat. Come on, out. Tell the kids to go home.
Hold it, kids. Hold it. I've got my orders.
Lousy cops.
Yeah, let's have some more music.
Oh, we paid to get in, real squares.
Oh, now listen, kids. Let's fold up our tents and silently fade away, huh?
Now you're talking sense, Mr. Nelson. Oh, come on. Stick him up! I got you covered.
Now we know what's what.
Arts and crafts. I'll show you what to do with a knife.
Contributing to the delinquency of minors. He's in charge.
I'll report it to the chief. He'll take it from there.
Arrest him, officer. If you don't, I'll have your job.
You're welcome to it, ma'am. I want a list of those kids who did this. Kids? Are you sure this wasn't a hurricane? You saw them, Nelson. Now I want their names.
I can't give them to you, Captain.
Oh, so that's the way it is, eh? Anybody going to cooperate? You know, I could book you now, Nelson, for obstructing justice.
Do it, I insist.
Put him where he belongs, in jail.
I'll do it my way, lady.
Georgiana, let's go home. My feet are killing me.
All this activity and not even one corpse.
Now, I hope you see him for what he is, June. A common criminal.
You better tell him you'll be finished if you don't.
And I'll be finished if I do.
Come, dear. Come. Officer, you'll have to drive us home.
That's a perfect way to end a lousy evening. I'm sure someone will want to talk to you tomorrow. You're hereby notified to keep yourself available. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I blew the whole bit. Kick.
Yeah. I was afraid it might end up something like this. Bugsy's been sitting around waiting for just this chance. And the worst is yet to come. If they ever put me under oath, I'm going to have to tell them who those kids were.
And then the whole jazz goes up in smoke. Come on, one on the house, please. You know, those kids, they really did a bit on old Fenwick's car, didn't they?
Yeah, and on us too, Axe. A real good job. Let's go.
Still pouring in. It's snowballed. It's always like that. First, a few crackpots start the push, and the fringe characters move in.
Are all of these for wrapping me in cement and floating me down the river?
No. Axe's pitch is bringing in results, some of them with money. That's what makes it so interesting. You become a public figure. A little controversial, but a public figure. Get yourself straightened away with the police, and you'll be made.
I've got no beef with the police.
Not much. Just the names of half a dozen hoodlums.
But if I give those names out, I'm washed up with the kids. Can't you see that?
You and your kids. So we put you on something else. Main thing is, all this has built you up.
And if I don't give the names to the police?
2 weeks severance pay and a guarantee that you'll never work on any station in the country. Besides which, you'll be taken to court and tried for contempt or perjury or whatever they call it.
In any event, I've only got a week left.
I'd say that's about right. By then, you'll put up or be shut up.
How would you like me to build this to a climax that would shut every other station but yours?
Naturally. My happiest dreams run along those lines. What's the gimmick?
It's a natural. I'd like to bring this whole thing to a showdown publicly. A trial with every listener as judge and jury.
Who's versus who?
Oh, Fentwick and his do-gooders versus Gary Nelson and his teen town. A regular trial with witnesses, evidence, prosecutors, the whole works.
I think I see it. You each present your case, and the phone calls and mail determine the verdict.
Right.
Nelson, I love you. Even if I have to fire you in 2 weeks.
And what if Fenwick gives me a no thank you?
He doesn't dare. After all the honking he's been doing, he'll love it. He'll be in here studying makeup inside of half an hour after I talk to him.
You know, I think you're right.
Lipstick, powder and paint, lipstick, powder and paint, lipstick, powder and paint. Is you is, is you ain't. Down goes my baby up the tree, giggling and a wiggling and scolding me. Let me put the cheaters on. Had such fun since she's been gone. Lipstick, powder and paint, lipstick, powder and paint, lipstick, powder and paint. Is you ain't. Hound dog scratching bleed, looking like she's in love with me. Licks my hand everywhere I go. Oh, it's my baby, love me so. Lipstick, powder and paint, lipstick, powder and paint, lipstick, powder and paint. Is, or is you ain't.
You cats figuring on digging the habeas corpus tonight?
Nothing else to do.
They have subpoenaed Bugsy as a witness. Me too.
It's a lousy waste of time.
It will be if they stick the shiv in Gary. And you know they will too if they ask him one question. They'll ask him to tell them who roughed up Fentwick's car. And he'll refuse because he's trying to play square with you guys. See? He'll refuse and that'll be that. Then you cats can scramble back into the sewers from whence you came.
And what if he doesn't have to answer any questions?
Then we got a chance. We got a fighting chance. So weigh it, kids, weigh it. Tempest is a fugitive.
We've been weighing it all day like crazy.
So where are you?
With more to do. So if you want to check out and leave us alone, we'll buy it.
Excuse me, Cap. Okay.
Now listen, kids. This is what we're going to do. We're going to change the whole thing around. We're going to make a new plan.
There.
How do I look?
Oh, magnificent.
Like Liberace's candelabra.
You look positively embalmed, Fentwick. Like a man I looked after in Houston. His wife wouldn't believe he was gone.
The fool. The fool to challenge me to public trial. Thousands of people, maybe millions, will see me. Who knows what it'll lead to? Perhaps to a cabinet post. perhaps even to the presidency. All those in favor of the presidency say aye. Carried.
I nominate my wife for vice president.
I don't know as I'd care to travel that much. I'd scarcely get to see you, Horace.
The nomination is closed. You're elected as vice president, Georgiana, and I'm going to take you home and help you pack.
To battle! We must prepare our case. Come in closer, ladies and gentlemen.
You still look great in the setting. Say, have you learned to cook yet?
I'm up to ham and eggs already. We seem to be pretty far away from the actual breakfast dishes, don't we?
Oh, as the cornballs say, love will triumph.
But they're so sure they're going to win.
Maybe they will. But I'll get in a couple of good licks anyhow. Can you just picture yourself the wife of a poor but honest laborer? A poor old cotton picker, for instance?
I love cotton pickers.
Young man, the next time you do that will be through the bars of a jail cell.
The condemned man ate a hearty breakfast, followed by a kiss.
Now, don't get excited, Pigeon.
What?
You'll ruffle the feathers in your hat.
Oh.
What a nice young man. Will you be wanting organ music for the service?
I'll take Fats Domino instead.
I once performed in New Orleans. Beautiful service. Beautiful.
3 minutes. Judge McComb's here.
Be right with you, Frank.
What about the names of the kids? Are you going to tell them?
Oh, I can't.
Then you've lost the case before you've started.
Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. Let's go.
2 minutes, Judge.
My function is to rule on the legality of the questions and answers. A decision of entry will be rendered by the public. Now, any deliberate falsehood will be considered as being perjurious. Any withholding of facts as contempt of court.
Hold your places, everyone. We're on the air in 1 minute.
We've got him, Max.
Crazy cats, you just got here for the top.
You mean you guys are ratting on yourselves?
Yeah, with heavy hearts and light tongues.
What is left to live for? The whole world is going crazy. Democracy is dead. I cannot wait to get back in a stir.
Okay, boys, take a seat. Thanks.
All right, quiet, everyone. We're on the air.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Advanced publicity has acquainted you with the purpose of this unusual procedure. We will therefore allow but brief statements to be made by both litigating parties. Mr. Fentwick, you first.
Your Honor, our case is very simple. This rock and roll is a musical noise symptomatic of a decadent and irresponsible youth. Its savage rhythm leads to lust and crime.
Lust and crime.
Order. We demand, therefore, that this form of bestiality be outlawed by legislation, and those practicing this cannibalistic exhibitionism be confined in jail the same as any other criminal.
Order. Go ahead, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. We wish to prove that the youth of today is no more corrupt than it has ever been. That teenagers are responsible citizens when freed from the tyrannical supervision and the ignorant moralizing as imposed on them by self-styled reformers.
Oh, crazy cat, I don't dig a word, but it's got class, man.
Order. All right, Mr. Nelson.
I furthermore mean to prove that rock and roll music is an art form, a cultural expression evolved by and for the youth of today, and is no more significant or harmful than was the turkey trot 40 years ago.
Statements have been duly made and recorded. Proceed, Mr. Fentwick.
Your Honor, I call for Exhibit A. Music, please. Dance. You see the source of the disgusting culture form, as Mr. Nelson calls it. Now, Your Honor, I wish to call attention to the effect of real music. I call for Exhibit B. What is your name?
Aloysius Pennycratch.
Your age?
17, sir.
Mm-hmm. What are your interests?
Music, the dance, and drama.
You play an instrument, I presume?
Yes, the piano, sir.
Oh, yes. Do you play rock and roll music?
Oh, no, sir. I consider it degrading, deteriorating, and degenerating.
Yes.
Man, I must learn that language someday.
I must have order.
Now, what sort of music do you play?
I find my inspiration from Beethoven, Chopin, Tchaikovsky.
Those fellas play for the Cincinnati Reds, don't they?
I demand order.
You find their works inspiring?
Oh, their emotional subtleties, their pulsating probings of the intellect through music. Oh, these are the things that make life worthwhile.
With Your Honor's permission, I will call another witness.
You may.
Would you come in? Now we will ask you to play something on the piano so that we may better demonstrate the nobility of your meaning. Your business, Mr. Nelson.
Mr. Pendergratch, do you agree that music is largely a matter of interpretation? In other words, musical sounds react differently on different people?
Of course. Music can be a purely emotional experience or a mental one.
Then you admit that Chopin didn't conceive of his music being played in any one particular way or interpreted in one specific manner.
That is a safe assumption.
Suppose, then, I asked you to play that last 32 bars again. Only speed it up and accentuate the rhythm. Can you do that?
I suppose so.
I object.
On what ground?
What? On the ground that he hasn't objected for a long time.
Quiet! Objection overruled. Go ahead, Mr. Nelson.
Would you play, please?
Yes, sir.
Kids.
Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Oh. And we'll do it. Go, no, 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 no. Make it go. Now you cut. Go, kids, go.
Chopper never sounded that good to me before.
That's because you are an illiterate, underdeveloped ignoramus.
Maybe that's the reason we're such a good match, Pigeon.
It's all a matter of interpretation, Your Honor. The times we live in determine the tempo in which we live.
Next witness.
I call on one, Gary Nelson.
Oh, man, here it comes.
Tell them, Gary, you've got to.
You're under oath, you know. You're bound to tell the truth. Were you present at the Teen Town concert the other night?
A concert conceived and executed by teenagers for the purpose of raising money to occupy permanent headquarters.
Confine your answers to the questions asked.
Yes, sir.
Did the said concert end in a fight? In criminal acts?
Provoked by people who had no business being there. By interfering busybodies who were suspicious of anyone's freedom but their own.
I object, Your Honor.
Objection sustained. Answer the question, Mr. Nelson. Did this concert result in a criminal act or acts?
Yes.
By members of your so-called organization? You saw these acts?
Yes.
You could identify the people involved? You will name those involved? You're under oath, you know.
A signed confession by every kid that took part.
Thanks, Helen. I submit this list in answer to the last question, Your
I
Honor.
object. I object.
Objection overruled. I accept this piece of paper as evidence. Any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
I've got a question. When do we go home?
I suppose in this highly irregular procedure, you're entitled to cross-examine the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your name and occupation. Gary Nelson, disc jockey. Mr. Nelson, you conduct a television program known as Rock, Roll, and Shake. I did. You were present at the Teen Town concert in question. Tell us about the fight.
He'll kill himself, I hope.
Some, excuse the expression, adults came in. The kids didn't like it. There was a character there by the name of Bugsy Smith. He's the one that started the whole thing going. Is that the man? The man you are referring to? That is the man. No further questions, Your Honor. I would now like to call on one Mr. Bugsy Smith.
I would prefer a 6x8 jail cell anytime.
Mr. Smith, why do they call you Bugsy?
You know, you have got me there. I have never been able to figure that out.
You were present at the Teen Town concert.
Yeah.
Why? Just what was your interest there?
I had to protect my kids. You were making bums out of them. You spoil them rotten.
There. What did I tell you?
Lady, by chance, you are not going to be one of the witnesses, are you?
Just how was I making bums out of them, Mr. Smith?
Why, the kids used to run bets for me. You know, do odd jobs, break up a window or something, and somebody didn't pay up. And then you come along with your la-di-da, and the next thing you know, they're going to school regular, attending meetings, painting pictures. Why, some of them even been seen going to church. I don't know what is happening to the youth of today.
Well, so that's how Mr. Nelson spoiled your neighborhood, hmm?
It is a national disgrace. I am ashamed to live there no more.
No further questions, Your Honor. Your witness, Mr. Fentwick.
I have no questions. I don't wish to say anything to a paid witness.
I object, Your Honor.
Sustained. Disregard that last remark. And watch yourself, Mr. Fentwick, or I'll hold you in contempt.
That's about the only way that you can hold him. In contempt.
Next witness.
Your Honor, our boys and girls live in a jet-propelled age. They'd have to be cabbages not to be affected by them. I'd like to call on one of them to act as spokesman for his group. Axe.
Crazy, man.
Your name, please?
Well, I teed off Monica Albert, but folks now dig me Axe because I chop a mean 10.
I beg your pardon?
What'd the cat do?
I knew they'd bring in a foreigner to give evidence.
What language is that you speak? Igoroti?
Look, you don't dig, eh, Cube? I yacked that I chop a mean tin.
I'm sorry, but we're going to need an interpreter. Is there anybody here who can understand that gibberish?
I'll act as an interpreter, Your Honor. I dig what he's... I understand what he says.
Of all my 50 years on the bench, I have... Oh, all right. Go ahead.
Excuse me. Say, Frank, we'll need several sets of earphones, huh?
Got them right here, Gary.
Right. We're ready, Judge. I'll translate as he goes along.
I didn't think it was humanly possible. Your name again?
They dig me axe, I chop a chop.
They call me Axe because of my ability to get the best in exchange of repartee.
Your occupation?
Hipster. I blow a tin, I beat a skin.
I'm a musician. I play a horn or a drum.
Proceed.
Yes, sir. Well, I cut from my pad one early, bright.
I got out of bed one morning.
I float into my set of threads.
I get into my suit.
Then I glance in the reflector on the wall. What do I gam? Nowhere. A great big nothing from hunger, Bill.
I looked into the mirror and saw that I was getting nowhere. A big disappointment.
So I figure I'll salt mine it off.
I thought I'd work this feeling off.
So I grab my tin, I chop off a few riffs.
I played a few bars on my instrument.
Yeah, 0 minus nothing.
It didn't work.
No bread, no ox pulling rocks.
No money, no work.
So I figure I'll flounder over and flick my chick.
I went to see my girl.
Well, she was Mason in it with her check and her choke.
Would you say that again, Axe?
She's Mason with her check and her choke? She's Mason with her check and her choke.
I found her at home with her mother and younger sister.
Proceed.
They're red-eyeing the silver screen.
They were watching television.
And all of a sudden, I damn this gasser. And Judge, I dig him the most. He's making jazz for some diaper dots and dashes.
I saw Nelson trying to do something for some kids.
Well, I figure I like this guy, so I go over and wag a tongue at him.
I went to talk to him.
Well, we shoveled each other. And you know what, Judge? He took me off the ragged edge and he put me on the every Saturday.
He gave me a job.
So any creep that peeps this cat is 0 is nuts. He's the most.
He's doing a good job.
Any questions, Mr. Lipstick?
No. Send him back.
The defense rests. I am pooped.
I am still convinced that I can prove the demoralizing effects of rock and roll. Picture, please. This is a typical evening of this kind of music. Now take a look at the utter depravity. You can thank rock and roll for this, the complete deterioration of our young people of today.
Do you care to sum up, Mr. Nelson?
I would like to offer a couple of pieces of Americana for my closing testimony.
All right.
Picture, please. In the 20s, American culture produced this gay little thing. This delicate little thing was known as the Black Bottom.
There will be no profanity in this court.
You all survived those savage expressions of youth. And yet our teenagers can't survive rock and roll.
We never participated in these decadent antics.
Would you run that last piece of film again, please?
It is Aunt Georgiana. Come on. Aunt Georgiana, that is you.
Nonsense. Take that picture off immediately. That was not me.
Oh, yes, it was, Pigeon, because you've still got the trophy at home on the mantelpiece.
Oh, just because I was young and foolish.
You worked your own way out of it, didn't you? That's all my kids want.
But I liked you better then than I do now, honey.
Your Honor, that's all we want. A chance for these kids to work their own way out of their teens. If you want to help, if you believe in them, in yourself, you can help make this teen town dream come true. Now, anybody with a couple of bucks can...
There being no further testimony, I instruct the jury to bring in a verdict.
Look at Fenwick. Rigor mortis is setting in.
What did you say? Rigor mortis? Oh.
May I suggest, while we're waiting for a result, Your Honor, that we listen to the arch criminal rock and roll as portrayed by a real musician. Mr. Fats Domino, our television studio would be glad to pipe it in on the screen.
Very well.
Hiya, kids. This is Fats Domino. I want all of you to know that I'm in love again. Yes, it's me and I'm in love again. Had no loving thing, you know when. You know I love you, yes I do. And I'm saving all my loving just for you. Need your loving and I need it bad.
Well, we've made it. And now I think you'd better start shopping for those kitchen appliances.
Oh, baby, won't you give your love to me? Any minute, money more. Told me you want me around no more. Ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee. Baby, don't you let your dog bite me.
For the first time, I'm living. Scram.
Are you sassing me, Horace?
When I'm ready to go home, I'll let you know, woman.
Georgiana, Fenwick has a new group dreamed up already.
Beat it, squares.
Oh! Horace, you were masterful, masterful.
What's all the fuss about?
Yes, I do, and I'm saving all my love.
Come on, woman.
Oh, no, please, Horace, please.
Don't go ape on me, chick, or I'll chop a couple of ribs on your pate.
Oh, darling.
Come on, woman.
Oh,
your dog bite me. Any minute, money more. Told me you want me around no more. Ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee. Baby, don't you let your dog bite me.
We're off the air, Judge.
Thank heavens, I'm about ready to pass out.
Is he done for?
What do you want?
My card.
Embalming.
Had no loving thing, you know it. You know I love you. Yes, I do. And I'm saving all my love in jail for you. Any minute, money more. Told me they want me around no more. Ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee. Baby, don't you let your dog bite me.